So you're not going to get it from the Democrats. And I like some things about Obama, but he's got Zbigniew Brzezinski as his foreign policy advisor. That's a little bit creepy. So, but the thing we should be we should be showing up at Hillary Clinton events and videotaping confrontations, asking her about Vince Foster. Why did you lie about the last time you saw him? If you read my article on the web, you'll see what I'm talking about. I can prove it. I got the FBI 302s from the National Archives. She lied. Why did you pardon the New Square Four, who then voted for you in your Senate campaign? What did you talk about in your Iran-Contra closed-door hearings? And then talk about Jackson Stevens. Because going back to the Bank of Credit and Commerce International, the Clintons were also connected to that. This is why the Clintons were connected to the Iran-Contra operation and were complicit in that cover-up. Like 40 people died, state troopers, the boys on the tracks in Neenah, Arkansas, et cetera, et cetera. But Hillary stinks. She's wearing a thick coat of perfume to cover up a stench of secrecy, lifelong pragmatism, a lack of principles. I mean, you tell me, what does she stand for? So it's up to us to get inspired about this. To do some political confrontations and do it in the name of progressives, do it in the name of Obama, but also Green Party progressives like Cynthia McKinney, who's the Green Party candidate for president. I'm really proud to say that I'm a big supporter of hers, and she's somebody that's not been afraid to speak the truth. So I'm going to tell you about what we're doing out in Brooklyn, and then I'm going to get off the mic or take questions or have a discussion or drink some water. But what I'm doing is I run a coffee house out in Brooklyn, New York, called VoxPop. It's thank you, John. You read my mind, baby. We sell fair trade coffee, so it's better than Starbucks, both ethically and taste-wise. We have really healthy food.
What's the address?
It's 1022 Cortellia Road. The middle of Brooklyn. It's an emerging neighborhood. But it's what you call a double bottom line business. After 3 years, we finally got it profitable. It's chugging along. It's doing great. But there's also like a double bottom line, which is like you don't just measure the financial return, you measure the social return. And so as a coffee house, it's so much more than just a coffee house. It functions as a nightclub. We have these awesome events that blend live music and visiting authors. So we're selling books, and we're also spawning new activist groups. We treat politics like a sport in some ways because we have like these parties or live events that are also debates for the local elections. So local city council, congressional races, it's the place to come for the debate, pardon me. And we're doing a ton of stuff. We have like children's book readings, children's story hour, and it's locally it's had an impact. It's helped a struggling neighborhood emerge. This neighborhood was redlined by Chase Bank just 10 years ago. Even if you had good credit, you couldn't get a mortgage for your condo, right? Well, now it's we're trying to get commercial banking to come back to Cortellia Road, despite the crack epidemic of 10 years ago, and so I've just seen it have like such an incredible effect. And so I'm here to say that, well, I'm here to say a number of things, but one of the things I want to say about this is that this has always been a part of my activism as a truther. That we conceived of it, and I founded it in 2003 and then opened it in 2004 out of a desire to get people in a room talking, rather than in front of their televisions, watching orders to demonize this scapegoat, or fear this people, or hate this country, or support the bombing of this small country laden with natural resources. And instead, I wanted people to get together and cross-fertilize and talk about their beliefs politically, spiritually. And out of this, I think a new movement will emerge. So that's the hope I have, so that we can stop living in fear and connect with each other and build each other up and continue to build our movement for peace and justice and truth. And with that, I'll take questions. Oh, Thank you. All right, we're going to go here for a question, but I'm going to pass around an email list for, and if you want me to send you any information about VoxPop and how we can do it in LA together someday, put an X by your email. Okay? Great. All right, let's see here. All right, give me 1 second. Well, go ahead. Why don't you ask your question and I'll get my.
Yeah, Sander, my name is Stuart. Again, I really like what I've seen and read in the video clips that I've gotten to watch about you and VoxPop West. And I'd very much like to see VoxPop out here, VoxPop West.
Well, great. Then put an X by your email.
You got it. Thanks for being the change that I'd like to see.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah. Good. Well, I'll speak to that. If you like, I've got a business plan. If you want a copy, I'll give you a copy of our full printed out business plan.
Absolutely.
And I've also then I talked to a venture capitalist who was like, well, listen, most VC don't have the time to read your 30 pages of your prose, man. So I condensed it into this slide deck. It's like a 10-page PDF. It's visual. It's big type, and you can fly through that in like 2 minutes. So. And all of that is online, actually, if you know where to look for it, at the VoxPop site, voxpopnet.net. Not voxpop.net, but the cheaper voxpopnet.net.
I think I surfed through that a little bit.
Oh, good.
It's really great.
Click on About, and then you'll see a business plan link on the right-hand side. So.
We need that out here.
Yeah, cool. Good. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
But do you have a song?
Do I have a song?
I need a song.
We need a song. That's right. We need the VoxPop theme song. Can you have it on my desk by 9 a.m. tomorrow? Tin Pan Alley, baby. Yeah. All right, Bill.
A couple of questions. Are you familiar with a fellow by the name of Richard Andrew Grove?
Yeah, I know Richard Grove.
And do you know his story? Can you give us any
Sure.
insight on this?
Yeah, an interesting cat. And
He got like new stuff before 9/11 happened and followed finances and stuff.
right. Yeah, Richard Grove. Yeah, was a Wall Street guy. I mean, I met him in Chicago at a 9/11 Truth conference. And he was friendly with the people that were bringing out the Who Killed John O'Neill film, which I actually drew on as a reporter because I did a big Spitzer Silverstein story for the New York Megaphone. I got to tell you more about the Megaphone too. This is part of the talk I kind of skipped over, but I'll tell you how this feeds into VoxPop and stuff. But we did this story called here actually, Visual Aids. We can pass around a couple of these too. Unfortunately, I don't have one for everybody, but I did this story called The Real Spitzer Scandal. You can just pass it around if you like or something. And here's another one. And I drew on Richard Grove's research because Grove was really into the New York City financial insurance company connections. Not only Elliot Spitzer, but Jerry Hauer, who was Giuliani's Office of Emergency Management guy. And they're all friends with like Michael Cherkasky, who was working for Kroll at the time, Kroll Security at World Trade Center. But then Cherkasky went on to become CEO of Marsh McLennan. It's one of the more detailed parts of 9/11 Truth. I have a lot of respect for Richard Grove. I don't know what his deal is, though. He hasn't really returned my phone calls in the past year or two since Chicago. But I have listened to his podcasts numerous times. And Maria Heller Show. Yeah, especially that first one. He really kind of lays it on the line.
It's like 2 or 3 hours long.
Yeah, right. In which it's just him speaking, and there's like 21 different tracks or something. And he gave me a CD, and I played it in the car driving back to New York from Chicago, and I just found it riveting. I just thought it was really great.
I think that's one of the more underrated and lesser known stories that warrants attention.
Yeah.
The second question I had, or were you going to continue?
I wanted to second just to affirm that and say I'd love to get that guy a book deal. We still publish books at VoxPop too. It's not as much now that we're focusing on the Megaphone, but yeah, I totally agree with you. And so if you ever talk to him again, tell him to get in touch with me.
But